In this webinar, we're going to be discussing financial well-being. Now, before we get started, I just wanted to make people aware that this topic is ever-changing according to government guidelines. So if you are unsure of any information, please do check with the most up-to-date advice on government websites. What we're going to look at today, we're going to look at the impact of financial worries, we'll look at furlough, statutory sick pay and benefits, and also money and mental health, and maybe a few small changes that you can make. So first of all, what is financial well-being? So the Chartered Accountants Benevolent Association said, financial well-being is about a sense of security and a feeling as though you've got enough money to meet your needs. It's about being in control of your day-to-day finances and having the financial freedom to make choices that allow you to enjoy life. Worries might make us act and feel differently than usual. Not only can financial difficulties cause worry, upset and sleepless nights, they can also lead to long-term stress, anxiety and depression, and also other mental health disorders. Unfortunately, it can be a vicious cycle. Money worries impact mental health, but those with poor mental health often find managing money harder. From an employer perspective, this may affect productivity and increase absences from work. So, understanding furlough. If you and your employer both agree, your employer might be able to keep you on the payroll if they're unable to operate or have no work for you to do because of coronavirus. This is known as being on furlough. You could get paid 80% of your wages, which is up to a monthly cap of £2,500. If your salary is reduced as a result of these changes, you may be eligible for support through the welfare system, including universal credit. Check if you could be covered by the Coronavirus Job Retention Scheme. This is a temporary scheme in place, firstly for 3 months, starting from the 1st of March, but it has been extended, and it's designed to help employers whose operations have been severely affected by coronavirus to retain their employees and protect the UK economy. If you're an employer, you can only claim for furloughed employees that were on your PAYE payroll on or before the 28th of February 2020. Employees hired after 28th of February 2020 cannot be furloughed and claimed for in accordance with this scheme. And employees can be on any type of employment contract, including full-time, part-time, agency, flexible or 0 hours contracts, and foreign nationals are eligible to be furloughed. Grants under the scheme are not counted as access to public funds, and you can furlough employees on all categories of visa. Looking next at statutory sick pay, so SSP, you can get £94.25 per week statutory sick pay if you're too ill to work. It's paid by your employer for up to 28 weeks. If you are staying at home because of coronavirus, you can now claim SSP, and this includes individuals who are caring for people in the same household and therefore have been advised to do a household quarantine. To check your sick pay entitlement, you should talk to your employer or visit the government statutory sick pay page for more information. Now, if you have coronavirus or are advised to stay at home, you can get an isolation note by visiting NHS 111 online rather than visiting a doctor. And for coronavirus cases, this replaces the usual need to provide a fit note or a sick note after 7 days of sickness absence. If you are self-employed or not eligible for SSP, so if you're earning below the lower earnings limit of £118 per week, and you do have coronavirus or are advised to stay at home, you can now more easily make a claim for universal credit or the new style employment and support allowance. And if you are eligible for the new style employment and support allowance, it will now be payable from day 1 of sickness rather than day 8 if you have COVID-19 or are advised to stay at home. So if you're claiming benefits, whether you're currently in or out of work, if you're on a low income and affected by the economic impacts of coronavirus, you'll be able to access the full range of the welfare system, including universal credit. From the 6th of April, the standard allowance for universal credit and the basic element in working tax credit has been increased for a year. Both will increase by £20 per week on top of the planned annual uprating. If you are self-employed, you are able to claim universal credit, providing that you meet the usual eligibility criteria. New claimants will not need to attend the job centre to demonstrate gainful self-employment. Now, not only can financial difficulties cause worry, upset and sleepless nights, they can also lead to anxiety, low mood and mental health disorders. Unfortunately, it can be a vicious cycle. Money worries impact mental health, but those with poor mental health often find managing money harder. Many of us have been there. More bills are landing on the doormat, one of your child's birthdays is looming, or the car breaks down, and you can't see how your income will cover your outgoings. The most important thing to remember in this situation is that you're not alone. In March 2020, there was 12.8 million households with either no or less than 1,500 in savings, and 318 people a day were declared insolvent or bankrupt in October to December 2019. And this is equivalent to one person every 4 minutes and 32 seconds. If you're struggling financially month in, month out, and especially if those pressures are causing health issues, it's time to start taking steps to sort them out. And these 3 steps might help to get the ball rolling. So firstly, understand the main issues. Write down all your outgoings. It can help you to work out where and when you're spending too much money. Are there any aspects of your life where you could cut back? Secondly, talk it through. So many people bottle up financial worries for fear of judgment or embarrassment, but talking it through with a family member or close friend can help unload the weight that's hanging over you. There's also financial charities on hand to offer advice on many aspects of money and debt. If financial difficulties are causing stress, anxiety or depression, you could call your GP. And getting the right support if you experience mental health issues is another step to being able to manage your finances clearly and rationally. If you are struggling to pay a bill, don't ignore it. Call the respective company and be honest with them. Most organisations and companies will be able to offer payment plans or extensions, and also your place of work will most likely have specialist teams that can offer support and advice, and may even have schemes to help with financial issues. Thirdly, get organised. Sometimes simply putting aside an hour or so just to organise your paperwork, bills and documents can make you feel more in control. If you're clear on what you need to pay and where your documents are, you're in a better place to create an action plan. Financial difficulties could lead to relationship issues or going without essentials, which could in turn lead to an impact on our mental health. And this could be in the form of feeling anger, anxiety, shame or guilt. Our budgets might look really different at the moment. You might find that you're spending less on commuting or travel, but maybe more on food. I'd suggest making an Excel spreadsheet with income and expenditure to see what your finances look like. Knowing how much free money we have left over each month can allow us to plan accordingly. When it comes to mortgage or rental holidays, you can also apply for a mortgage holiday, and what it means is that your mortgage repayments are paused for a set period of time, usually 3 months. And it's available for everyone who's up to date on their mortgage payments. You'll pay a little more interest on your mortgage at the end. And landlords also can't evict anyone for a period of at least 3 months at the moment, as they can also get mortgage holiday on their property. If you have a credit card and are worried about repaying it, then you can get a 3-month payment holiday. This means that after 3 months you'll start paying your minimum payment again. If you do have to continue using your card during the 3-month holiday, then it might mean that your minimum payment could increase at the end, although it is slightly different for each bank. Some banks say you don't pay anything for 3 months. Some banks might want you to pay £1 a month, and it's really best just to check with your particular bank. The payment holiday is used for sort of short-term financial concerns, and if it is long-term, please do get in contact with your bank. If your child is eligible for free school meals, then there will be continued support if they're now at home. So there's a few ways that a school might have chosen to do this, including through a voucher scheme or an e-gift card for selected supermarkets, and this should have been communicated to you through your child's school. If we're looking at holiday and travel refunds, it might be slightly different for all providers, so worth getting in contact with the provider. However, I will say they will have high volumes of calls, so you might have to be patient there. Now, the saying goes, take care of the pennies and the pounds will take care of themselves, and there is some truth in it. Try some of these small changes to help keep both you and your purse strings healthy. So it might be getting creative with leftover food. The fridge might look bare, but it's surprising what you can do with a little bit of thought. Vegetables that are starting to look a bit old, still fine for soups, sort of healthy, filling and warming. Overripe fruit can be blended into a tasty smoothie or used in baking. Very ripe bananas can make delicious banana bread. You can also raid the tin cupboard. All you need is a tin of tuna or baked beans to add to a jacket potato for a really filling, healthy meal. Another top tip is to cook in batches. So maybe make a bit more than you plan to eat. You can then freeze half for another day, or you can have leftovers for lunch the following day. And if you can, do try to plan your menu. We also want to say maybe limit getting takeaways or deliveries. It might be that you can't really be bothered to cook at the moment, but takeaways can be costly. Instead, save the takeaways for special occasions. Perhaps you might want to invest in a takeout coffee cup or good Tupperware, for when we're allowed out again, you can skip paying for food that you've bought out. Do try and stay active. Do some physical activity if you can. It can help to boost our moods. But do think about how you can do it at a lower cost. Gyms aren't open at the moment, but you can think about how often you were using your membership beforehand. And if you aren't using that gym very often, but do pay for the privilege, think about how you can stay active for less. Pay-as-you-go exercise classes mean that you sort of only fork out for those that you can attend. And at the moment, as exercise classes are postponed, there's loads of free ones online. Running or walking outdoors is free and can do wonders for your mental health. So head to parks or green spaces and scenic routes to just improve both your mood and health without any cost. But do make sure to observe the government guidelines. Small changes can make a real big difference in the long term to your finances. Habits can be hard to break, but thinking about each aspect of your life and where you could save could help to reduce your overall outgoings. Now, looking at what employers can do to help. First of all, make employees aware of any financial support available. Perhaps you offer a season ticket loan to help spread out travel costs, or an emergency hardship loan for crisis situations. It might be that employers would benefit from reminding that these support measures are out there. How about arranging a webinar or a lunch and learn about money management? You could also run an internal communication about financial worries and how people can get support if they're struggling. Where relevant, signpost to financial support charities and organisations. These could include Step Change Debt Charity, Citizens Advice, a money advice service. And managers can help by making sure that the team know about any financial help available to them through work, as well as signposting to financial support organisations and charities. As I mentioned at the beginning, information around money might be changing at the moment, so if you really would like any more information or support, please look at government websites, Citizens Advice Bureau, you can call your mortgage lender, you could call your GP, or have a look at the Bupa Coronavirus Hub, where information is being updated regularly.